how we doing it here, right here, 97.5 KDE. Well, we have a wonderful caller on the line. This is a pretty hot topic as you get to talking about the age differences between people when they're dating. Hey, caller, you there? Hi, you there? Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So first off, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Maurice, calling from Rancho Cordova.
Okay, Maurice, what's your comment?
Just that I think that once it gets into double figures, 10 years and more, that age really does become something more than a number.
Okay.
Especially when you get into the teens and more.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. And basically it's because, once you start to have that kind of a spread, then you start to get into two different generations. And how can a man and a woman in different generations really relate to one another in a relationship, even including as husband and wife?
Okay, that's an interesting thought and interesting spin that you just put on that. So, ladies, how do you feel about that?
I'm thinking about Ruth and Boaz. I'm thinking about how young she must have been because, she married young. Her husband was young. He died young. Then I think about Boaz. Boaz was a very wealthy landowner. And so, he's like, baby, come over here and clean in this field. He knew what he wanted. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. She young? Who was that? Across that field. But I know it's scriptural. I know it's a little biblical. But at the same time, there's always going to be the demographic that men are always going to pick younger women, whether it's like 5 years, whether it's 2 years, they do that. But I don't know if I really want grandpa. Not like grandpa like that, because my boo is a grandpa, but not like the old grandpa, we going to do dialysis and stuff. We're not, you understand what I'm saying?
Like mom and pa kettle?
We're not that, boo.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
Okay.
My boo is fine, and he smell good, and he look good, and he dressed the bomb. Okay. So he look good to me. And a few other people who be rolling their eyes at me at church, but we don't even go there. But I'm saying, I think it's cool, but double digits, like past 20, I think it's way too, because then we talking about Viagra all the time.
I cannot with you today.
I'm just saying, keep it 100.
So Maurice, I think Connie is in agreement with you. What do you think?
That kind of sounds like it.
Well, thank you so much for calling in.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Connie, I see you have a couple people that may agree with you on today.
Right.
Well, we're going to move on to our next hot topic, ladies. This is a real serious one because we are living in the day of STDs. When you notice your relationship is going to the next level and moving towards intimacy, when is it appropriate to ask about their sexual health, such as their sexual history, and ask for proof that they do not have an STD? Should you ask for proof? Why or why not?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you should have that conversation before you guys start getting intimate with each other.
And then ask for proof. I want to see papers.
And I just think there's a way to do it. I think that, you should make it like it's not just on one person, because then it kind of can make a person feel like what you're trying to say.
With you?
Yeah. Or what you know what I mean? So I think if you just do it as a look, this is for you and for me. Let's both go get checked out and make sure we both straight. And then it's just something you don't have to worry about anymore. And I think it gives a confidence in that person. That's something that you guys don't have to worry about anymore. It's like, we both good, cool. We came into this good. Now something happened between that time. We know somebody done did something they wasn't supposed to be doing. But I think that is a conversation that definitely should be had prior to being intimate with somebody, for sure.
Okay. We have a caller? Well, we did have a caller.
Okay.
So, Connie, what do you think?
I think that's a great conversation too. I think that oftentimes when you know that you're ready for the next level, you have a tendency to just do it yourself. When you're real grown, you'll just go, and then you'll have the conversation. And if they're smart, they're probably already getting themselves together too. That's the benefit of dating a mature person. It's kind of like, okay, I think I'm ready to go to the next level. And even if it's just kissing, because just kissing the tongue. I mean, come on now. All of these germs that go on with just that alone. And so we're talking about our private parts. Well, baby, I need to know you okay. What they said at the doctor. You had a physical. I mean, even if it's just, I need to know that you're safe. Especially if you're older, I need to know that you're safe by your heart. Is your heart gonna be able to handle it? You gonna pass out on me? I don't want to have a color purple moment. He died on top of me. Where did he die? On top of me.
Stop it, Connie.
I'm just saying, or even her, you know. I mean, it just goes to the point where I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, and it does need to be had prior to intimacy. But I think it should be an ongoing process when you know that you're serious. Like, that should be something that you should be doing for your own benefit to make sure that you're safe. Because here's the thing: you was dating somebody too, boo, before anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So if you love them, like you say you love them, then you want to make sure that you're safe too.
Absolutely.
And so then when you get to that point where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm think it's time. I'm gonna go get that thing checked out. Because
should you go together?
That would be something that I think that would be nice too, if it's plausible and if it's applicable, if it's applicable at the time. But if they're not in the same time, like, let me say, if they work in a different city, let's say that, if they don't live in the same city, just doing it, period.
Yeah. I just think having proof that it's been done and you straight is enough.
Okay. I just don't want nobody, making up and falsifying paperwork.
Well, then you with the wrong one.
That's my thing. I think we should go together so I can see.
But I definitely think if you don't have a problem with going together and making it a together thing, this is something we're doing in our relationship, cool. But she made a really good point. We just individually need to be taking care of ourselves and making sure that we know what's going on with our bodies anyway.
Right.
And that's with everything, just being responsible. But when it comes to relationships, because there's so much going on now, there's so much irresponsibility going on with people, I think that it should be a conversation in the beginning of your relationship, that if you know that you're gonna take it to that next level with that person, if you know that this is someone that you see yourself being within the foreseeable future, then hey, let's just knock this out and make it comfortable. You talk about everything else. If you're supposed to be together, that's something you need to talk about. Get that straight.
If you want to weigh in on the conversation, call in at 916-921-5333. Should you ask for proof that your mate is actually sexually clean, as we say, disease-free? 97.5.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
The things that you guys are saying are very on point about, I like the idea of in the beginning of a relationship really being able to talk anyway. I love to be open, and even if it's just getting around to talking about what you may do eventually, I would like to know what your likes are, what your dislikes are, when it comes to sexuality. So I want to put that conversation on the table. And I think if you have an open relationship like that, an open conversation, it should be easy to discuss between the two of you about being safe.
Right.
And how your relationships in the past. And I like the idea of, hey, I'm going to be open. I want the two of us to go together.
Right. Especially if you've had past
you could
partners.
Trust me, and I can trust you.
Or at
and
least
there's
have
no
the
questions left to be, nothing left to be said.
That is so true. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I am again, Joy. I called you earlier.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for weighing in.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
She brought up a good point about sexuality, because you got, not only do you have bisexual men that are undercover, you got bisexual women. And honey, let me say something. Let me just keep it real 100%.
Keep it 100.
You got bisexual people in the church, and it makes for a very uncomfortable, like, if that bone that falls out the closet, like every time you open up your mouth, a bone fall out because you've been lying the whole time. How is that? That's a great, like, that topic, that's just great. I'm kind of tongue-tied on that, because she kind of blew my wig back, and I don't even wear a wig, but I'm just saying.
What you're saying is so true, because I had posted, I'm always posting our, when we talk about it, people don't realize that we're actually videotaping here inside the studio, and then you can go to Lady Charmaine on Facebook, my Facebook page, and catch the actual live video that we do inside the studio. There was a young woman who ended up commenting on one of the videos because she had found out, that her husband was actually living a double lifestyle. And she was moving, her and her husband was moving, and she said her husband's friend, who was a male, who was also married as well, had said, do you think that would keep him? And she said her eyebrow just kind of raised up, like, what do you mean? She didn't know. She said she ended up finding out basically a couple of years later that her husband and this gentleman had been having relations. Now, she was also friends with the wife. She had absolutely no idea.
Wow.
Correct. And she was telling me another story of her friend whose husband was actually living on the DL, and he ended up getting AIDS and passed it on to her friend, and her friend eventually passed away. So that is so true. So you need to talk, you know what I mean? If your lifestyle, things that you may have dibbled and dabbled in, because all that can play into your sexual health as well.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's why, my doctors think I'm a hypochondriac, but I'm like, every 6 months, boo, get me. I gotta go in, hit me. I'm like a heroin addict. Hit me up. I need that test. Give me. And they be like, well, Miss Cooper, you're fine. You don't need another one. No. Here's the thing. I've been married twice, and at that time when I was married, of course, I wasn't using a condom. I'm married. But there's always the fact that they might have been doing something. And then when you get into new relationships, what if they're doing something? Because I'm 100. I'm solid. You know why I'm solid? Because I've been hurt before. And cheating to me is like the lowest that you could ever go. Because you can tell me, honey, that I'm not enough. And if I can't put the wig and contacts on, and I don't know, if you need a tool belt, I don't know what you're going to need. But I mean, if I can't fix you, and if we can't be together and be in a monogamous relationship, then you don't need to be with me. Because DL to me is like the lowest that you could go. You want me to do it? I don't know. Because I don't understand. Do you need that? Because right. the marriage bed is undefiled. And so, even though it's as nasty as it sounds, but I'm being 100 with you right now. People need to be honest about their sexuality, because I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm going to fix it. You going to fix it. We going to fix it together. And you going to fix it for me if I'm not fixing it myself. But if I can't fix that for you, then you don't need me. Right. You need that. Because I don't want to be deceived like that. Because that's how people go crazy and end up killing people. Not to say that I would do that. No, I'm going to walk away, and God's going to let me shine in front of you, because you missed out on this diamond.
All right, now.
Go ahead,
say that. Look, did she say it, girl?
She said it. It just all goes back to taking care of yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with your partner. And some things you don't want to say, some things that you have been, you've overcome or you've dealt with or whatever, and you don't want to share with the person. I don't see why you wouldn't if you move forward with that person. But I mean, as long as you're honest, especially since we're talking about like diseases and STDs and things like that, as long as you're like, you know what, this is something that I need to do for me more than anything else, I need to make sure that I'm straight, then bottom line, that's all that matters. If somebody is doing something undercover and all that stuff, everything that's done in the dark always comes to the light.
Okay, see, here's another thing too. We could talk about STDs and go and get checked. What if an individual know that they do, because we know that there's a lot of people who have been diagnosed with AIDS, HIV. We know this. How do you bring up that conversation?
What do you mean, asking them if they have it?
If they have it,
and if you know you do, and that you meet someone that you've fallen madly in love with, how do you bring up that conversation to let them know that you have been diagnosed with AIDS or HIV or...
Well, here's the thing, though, Charmaine. That's a touchy subject, because if I'm in love with you, that means I've already been kissing on you or something. You've done something to stimulate me to stay. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't just conversation all the time.
Sometimes people are afraid that you might leave once I tell you.
Okay, but even if that's the case, we're talking about my life here. Right. And if I'm a mother and I have children, and if you're that selfish and you think you're just going to occupy my time and
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how do the person bring it up? Because
that's what I'm saying.
That's
but
one of
if
the
you're already
things.
Okay, but what you said was, correct me if I'm wrong, you're already in the relationship and you fallen madly in love. That meant that there had to be a progression of relationship, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
I think you were selfish from the gate, because I think that even if it's a Lifetime movie, okay, bring it back. I'm gonna pull it in.
But if Connie, you can't say everybody that you meet, oh, you know what, I've been diagnosed with HIV.
No,
so
I'm not saying,
not because sometimes you don't know sometimes you don't know where that relationship is gonna go. So you don't want to, every time you talk to a man, let him know you got HIV. So sometimes you kind of want to see where that relationship is going. Now you're developing feelings for this person. So now you're gonna have to tell them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to that point. If you falling in love, that means there was a progression of the relationship.
Right.
I think at the point where you know that you're falling in love, that's when you need to say it. Not, I'm already in love.
But that's what I'm saying. It's growing. So it doesn't matter when, if you start or where. But you got these emotions. So when and how do you say it?
Transparency is everything.
Right.
If you just keep it 100 and be like, look, I don't share my business with everybody because it's touchy for me. It's something that I have to deal with for the rest of my life. But now at this point in our relationship, I feel like I'm really starting to fall for you, and it is my job, it is my duty to let you know what the situation is, and you get to choose if you want to stay or not.
That's it.
And I think that's,
but you know,
I think that's something that
you know
have
what,
to,
and that sounds real good from a woman who's probably haven't been diagnosed with any type of disease or herpes and HIV, and it's really easy. The reason I'm asking because I know a young woman who fell madly in love with a young man. He was dating her, and she actually had herpes, and she was so stressed because she wasn't sure if she brought that up to him, would he stay? See, it's easy for me to say, hey girl, you know what, all you gotta do is this, and just say this. But if you're not that person in those shoes, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it'll just come off my chest that easy, because now your feelings are involved and you don't want this person to leave, because now you've gotten emotionally attached.
It may not come out that easy, but it's still something that you owe to that person.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe you owe it to them.
It may take you some time, but it's still something that you need to do, because it's gonna. I mean,
oh no, I'm not saying don't do it. The thing is, how
do you do it?
You know what I mean?
What other way do you do it other than that? Just come clean eventually.
Take you have to the beach. Hold on a moment. Hi, 97.5.
Hi, I just wanted to comment on what you guys were just talking about as far as going into a relationship and having some type of disease or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine that actually, she did have herpes, and I always ask her, well, how come this guy doesn't stick around? How come that guy doesn't stick around? And what happened to that guy? What happened to this guy? She said, well, this is my situation. And she told me that her ex-boyfriend, who she was engaged with, actually gave this to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, she didn't want to be into a relationship. So she would just go out on dates, and then once things started getting serious, she kind of would let them know, you know. And yeah, 99.9% of the time, the guy didn't stick around after that.
Yes, so thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, but she never, led them on to, anything further that would, jeopardize them.
Right.
And I think here's the thing. We're talking about the difference between herpes and HIV. You can live with herpes. I'm sorry. That's like getting a cold sore on your lip. People get cold sores every day. And think about this. People don't think about that kind of disease, herpes, like HIV. You can touch your lip and touch your vagina or touch your stomach and touch your eye and have that for the rest of your life.
Well, caller, first I want to say thank you so much for calling in. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I probably rather not say my name, because then she'll know.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
She's probably listening now, and she probably can turn in, so she might even call herself. I don't know.
Okay. If she calls and remains anonymous, I want to hear. Hopefully she does call in so she can share with us how she actually tells the men in her life, you know what I mean, and how difficult that is. So if she's listening, please call in.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so let me finish that, what I was saying. So HIV and herpes are two different things. HIV gonna take you all the way out, period. You're going out eventually, like all the way out. There's no, I can medicate it, Zovirax, none of that.
There's been a lot of people who have lived a long time with AIDS and HIV, because my brother Monte, who passed away a couple years ago, he was actually the longest African-American male living with AIDS, and he died being in a car accident. So you can live, because they do have medications for that. So he didn't die from that. He was actually healthy with it. He just died in a car accident.
Look at Magic.
97.5.
Hi, you gonna kick my butt because I'm calling on this phone all the time.
Is this Joy?
Yes, it is. I do have a personal friend that was HIV positive. Mm-hmm. She's still living right now. She's lived over, almost 30 years.
Right.
With it. But the thing is having that, and especially having AIDS, that's something you are obligated to tell.
Most definitely. Yeah, you sure can.
You are obligated to tell. There are people that, and it didn't matter because they were going to die anyway. That was their death sentence. But they passed it on to other people. So, there's been court cases and the like where people have been charged with murder for that.
Correct.
You're really obligated to tell someone, and that's not a joke, because you're playing with someone's life.
Absolutely.
So that's something that you kind of have to get out in the beginning.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Joy.
As far as the experience of my good friend is something that she talked about.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Okay, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Have a good rest of the show.
You too. Thank you. Yeah, so that's something that's a really serious conversation. If you had to have that conversation, you don't have to say your name. You can just call in, and I want to know, how do you share that conversation with someone that you feel that you're getting really, really close to? Give us a call, 916-921-5333. You're watching a Rich Girl Dreams production.